नहमदुहु व नस्सल्ली अला रसूलिल करीम अम्मा बाद बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम अस्सलामु अलैकुम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू. Thank you for joining today. Today's bayan, identity politics is the only politics. Intriguing reactions of Muslims to Mr. Mamdani's electoral win. This bayan is not about politics. It's not about identity politics. It's not even about Mr. Mamdani's. It's not even about Mr. Mamdani's election win. Though many congratulations to Mr. Mamdani on his historic election win, uh, a win that um, that expresses the frustration of many people in current society, given their material situation, their material situation, and their material situation to their material situation, but uh, I would say actually one's spiritual situation. We'll come to that. So, like I'm saying, it's not about this is not about this bayan is not about politics. It's not about identity politics. It's not about election wins. More the state of Muslims. It's definitely not about politics. Though I want to make clear that while Sufis not stay away from politics, I would just say that they're or the active Muslim. Definitely, there are people, different people who have been allocated based on their situation, based on their destiny decided by Allah, based on their abilities to um, take part in the political arena. There's definitely that. And how can how can a Muslim avoid politics? Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was the most astute, the most complete politician. And in this day and age, we need active Muslims also in the political sphere. But those are few and far in between specialists who are engaged in the political arena to improve the lot of Muslims. And for what niyat? So that Muslims can practice their faith effectively, more and more effectively, that we can all get towards Allah. But unfortunately, in today's day and age, everyone is a politician. Everyone has a opinion. Everyone is destroying their time, and I include myself in this also. The amount of time I waste on following political news, addictively scrolling through it. So, first of all, myself in it. But the amount of people that are wasting their time doesn't have to be politics. It can be all sorts of other topics, time wasted in which you're not a specialist. And definitely one should know about different spheres of life, including politics. But the amount that we waste, the amount of time that we waste on this topic, the amount of fights that we have, the basically the time wasted in this is phenomenal and a cause for much concern and decay of the Ummatul Muslimin. So again, my point is not that Muslims must not engage in politics; they must actively engage in politics. But that is a core function for politicians who have gone through tazkiyah, who are going through tazkiyah, who are going through their islah, so that when they engage in the political sphere, um, that they do so in a manner where their motivation is to get to Allah and to do their islah, and through that get other people to Allah and get other people to do their islah. But is that the state of our politicians today? Again, and it's not about politicians. This is not about just like it's not about politics. It's not about politicians. It's about the Muslims and their intriguing reactions that I came across on LinkedIn and other social media platforms, which begs the question: What am I doing so long on them? But topic for a different day, and what I'm trying to do around that. But the curious reactions of it, and also perhaps analysis of the person who has won, not the person as an individual himself, but rather what he represents, where he comes from, where she also comes from. I'll have perhaps a little commentary on that also. I will have a commentary on that also. But what path are they coming from? Um, what is the niyat over here? What is the intention over here? What is the purpose over here? What's the main motivator over here? Is it to improve one's worldly situation, which is pretty much where it is? Is it to improve the economy? Its economy is stupid. Is it to live a better life? Is it to be able to enjoy oneself? Yeah, that's pretty much it, right? And that's understandable for a non-Muslim. It's understandable, or rather, understandable if not justifiable, but nonetheless, okay, it's understandable for a worldly person, a non-Muslim, but Muslims partaking in excited breath and speaking excited breaths about how a Muslim mayor, for whom Islam, I'm sure he's definitely a better Muslim than I am, has faith, all of that. But that's not his main identity, right? That's not his purpose is not to promote Islam. Again, I'm not criticizing him. I'm not criticizing anyone. I'm criticizing more this attitude, this defeatist victim attitude, almost an almost unawares shame at one's own identity. How far we've gone away from our identity. It's much more than identity, but how far we've gone from our identity into this world, steep into this world, where a person who is not running on an explicitly Muslim platform, on creating an explicitly Muslim society for Muslims, that we are so excited that this person has won. This person has given us dignity. This person has given us respect. Finally, Muslims can raise their heads after the depravity of post 9/11 politics. Um, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say, that Muslims, we have gone so far from our faith. We have become so steeped in the world that we take our cues from, we take our pride from people who don't represent, who do not explicitly state to represent our deen, our way of life, not politics, not economy, a whole system who espouse it completely. We don't take it from that, but rather people who peripherally call themselves cultural Muslims, or Islam is an afterthought or a private matter of the private sphere, right? So ask yourselves who you're taking your deen from, right? Deen is a way of life. And given, okay, fine, if the world is our way of life, then who are you taking your cues from? Who are you taking your motivation from, your inspiration from? Okay, let's look at the policies of this person who's won. Again, a very capable person. Many congratulations on his win. May Allah use him as a wasila to improve the condition of humans. After all, don't forget, Allah loves His creation 70 times more than a mother. 70 times, more than 70 times, sorry. More than 70 times than a mother does her child, right? So even if not a Muslim, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves His creation and He is not going to forsake them. They may leave Him, but He does not leave them, right? So again, to this person, this politician, many congratulations to him. Better person than I am, and I mean it. Really, I mean it because, mashallah, look at his age, look at his achievements, look at his message. Look, it seems like a very sincere desire to improve the lot of that humanity, the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But nonetheless, but, but I'm talking about people like you and I, the active Muslims, the ones who will have to give our answer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That how did we use our time, our seconds, microseconds, minutes, how did we use it? Who did we use it in favor of? Who did we use it to support? And if it's going to be people whose policies are uh, uh, there to please a broad swathe of the population, uh, a worldly population, a population that is obsessed with its body and eating and um, uh, again, not to say that the message is not good. People are suffering, and can you imagine what a society it is? It has money pouring out of its ears, but people don't have proper food to eat. They don't have healthy food to eat. They don't have proper living conditions. What a weird situation. Uh, just a bit of a side note, just I just looked up the word what politica was. Politics, the Greek from where the Greek word from which it's derived, and is basically translated as affairs of the city. I look at Muslims and how obsessed we're with politics, and what are we obsessed with? The affairs of a city, how the drainage system works, how to more effectively allocate four walls with a roof on top, how to stuff themselves. Amazing. Um, and where the Muslim word for Islamic word for it is siyasa, which I'm sure has a much deeper true meaning. I don't know it. I'll look it up. Um, that's another thing, that where are we taking our words from? What are we inspired by? Are we inspired by words like politics or by words like siyasa, which have, I'll bet you, a much deeper encompassing meaning. Um, like, and this again is another thing about us as Muslims, right? Where are we taking our respect from, our sense of pride from? Are we taking it from Mr. Mamdani types or from genuinely Muslim leaders? From words like following words like politics and talking about it all the time, or understanding words like siyasa and all it represents. And I say this because, our Muslim words have infinite depth in it, infinite depth of meaning that truly convey uh, what we are, who we are. Um, take say a word like the worldly description of human beings, Homo sapiens, right? Homo sapiens versus the Islamic word for humans, which is insan. Homo sapiens, I laughed at it when I read it. I was like, what was this person on? What trip was he on of self-praise? Um, Probably came up with this word while this that society was a Western person, obviously, probably who came up with this, was engaged in all sorts of terrors against humans, genocide, and smashing societies and destroying them, all because we went away from Islam. But the word they use, Homo sapiens, and the word Homo sapien means wise man. Really? Is that how you choose to describe us, me? I would describe myself as a Homo sapien, wise man. I can assure you by my conduct just before this bayan that I'm hardly a wise person, full of problems and shortcomings that I better be cognizant of. Always remember, I must always remember so that I may know my true self, right? Um, versus the Arabic word, which is insan. And what is insan? Its root essentially is the one who forgets. What a perfect description. And I think if a person has at their forefront that I'm a Homo sapien, I'm a wise man, what must go through one's head? And if one, you know, truly understands the Muslim word, the Islamic word, the Quranic word to describe humans, insan, and then, always a constant reminder, right? Forgetfulness, the one who forgets. This is a reminder that we are the one who forgets, the one who forgets that um, how overweening, the one who forgets that when they become self-sufficient, they become so grossly overweening, right? The one who forgets so much so we remember the Quranic verse, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ." And how long will you deny the favors of your Lord, right? So again, it's a bit of a leap from politics. What does it mean? The word meaning. But I'm just trying to make a quick comparison about how we are taking our cues from wrong things. We're taking our cues from wrong words, from the wrong language. Isn't wrong languages? All are created by Allah, but the the language of the Lord, the word of the Lord, was through um, the Quran, through Arabic, right? So just 1 second. My deepest apologies. Life. Um, may Allah bless our families who adjust around people who hold themselves in such high esteem and create space for them and uh, create a space for them to be able to carry out their duties. I mean, so yeah, again, so coming, this where are we drawing our inspiration from, our words from, our remembrance from? Is it from worldly things, people, words, books, ideas, or from Islamic ones? So coming back to this politics. Okay, who are we taking our deen from, our way of life from, right? Politics is one um, element of it. And what you'll see is that politics and economy has become the overwhelming uh, sphere of thought, of imagination, of living, just economy. What can we fill in our stomach materially, and politics. Uh, how are we going to distribute power to be able to um, distribute that? And so, if you look at Mr. Mamdani, just a few of his things, a broad church, as I mentioned, was one of the first few things he did. Got He had five women appointed to key positions to move policy forward. Now, I can hear the screams coming, uh, very presumptuous of me. Maybe 30 years down the line, this video leaks, and people say, "Oh, look at him, this misogynist. He's against women being in positions of leadership." Here they go, look. So either whatever I say doesn't matter. I, if anyone takes me seriously, I don't know why they would, but it's not me trying to uh, push my narrative ahead. I'm just looking at what the Quran says, you know. And again, if you're going to draw your sources from yourself, Mr. Wise Man, you're going to keep making mistakes. This hellish direction we're going in, this worldly, this this world that we live in, no religion, no sense of spirituality, ebbing away, eroding faster and faster. Okay, then hey, these are the fruits. You have what you want, and what do you have to show for it, right? Uh, but this my purpose is not to say that women are incapable. It's just a matter of prioritization and what message you're conveying by taking such a step, right? You've appointed five women to key positions of uh, power. Again, I'm very sure, forget about me, they're probably super achieving persons, women, okay? But either we take what the Quran says or we take what humans say. What humans will come up with, it will be besmirched by their imperfections, their forgetfulness. And if we take it from the Quran, which is, it is certain responsibilities it is enjoined upon men and women, right? And the responsibility of women, which, again, it's not about working or not working. It's not about, it's just about the niyat and the perspective and the attitude and the understanding within one's heart of what my responsibility is, what my purpose in life is. Is it to become a super achieving woman or man, even for that matter? Super achieving women or man in a purely worldly, very narrow sense of the word? Or is it to be a wholesome person, to lead a way of life, a balanced life, created by Allah, represented by the sunnah of the Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Uh, no, it's this long preamble. Yeah, you have to be careful. Uh, so is it going to be so what's the purpose? Is the purpose to get Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Okay, fine. If it is, then what is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying to men and to women that they need to enact to get to him. For women, it's the roles as mothers, it's the roles as daughters, it's the roles as wives. Um, uh, and if that is the case, then I think if it was a Muslim male leader, then other choices would have been made, right? We see a society that is increasingly moving towards atomization. It's increasingly moving towards um, selfishness, and this because it draws from the world represented through politics in the guise of Mr. Mamdani, through his decisions of getting women. I mean, I just looked at it, it's like five women. It's a smart move from a worldly perspective, but just imagine uh, if those who's taking care of those women's husbands and children and not spending time. Um, there's the leader of Japan, I'm forgetting her name, recently elected, and she was bragging about how she sleeps 2 to 4 hours. At 3 in the morning, she called her entire staff before a budget meeting. It wasn't to do tahajjud, it was to prepare for a budget meeting, right? And bragging about it and acting more male than men. And what is Japan facing? A demographic crisis, reduce fast reducing population. We don't have kids because it's too expensive. It's too expensive with the world. How will we go on our holidays and wear our branded clothes? And again, I'm not saying there's not genuine hardships, but it's a matter of priority. Allah says, I've prepared your risk, and your child will come with your risk. Um, I've experienced in my life that with every child, Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where I had no I had no imagination of it being able to come, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala arranged um, material for me. So this is just one example, right? That as a Muslim leader, as a leader, he has chosen five women. And are you comfortable with this as a Muslim, that you are so proud and so happy that, oh, look, a Muslim has come who doesn't say he's Muslim, who says it, but in the background, right? And a lot of these Muslims also, bearded people, say stuff like, this is not about identity politics. This is about, you know, economic crisis. I'm just holding my head that there is no such a thing economic crisis. There's a spiritual crisis of which one manifestation is the economic distribution. It's a very tiny part of our life, right? But our whole focus on it, obsessive focus on it, and and we have nothing to show for it, has led to this catastrophic crisis that the world uh, is increasingly hurtling towards. What? That we have more and more wealth with less and less people. People are becoming more desperate. It's a ridiculous situation. But you and I are to blame for this. Muslims like me especially, are to blame for this. That we take our cues and our pride from this victim mentality, from uh, celebrating such victories, saying it's not about identity politics. It is about identity. I mean, if it was about identity politics, it would be some consolation. That at least, in some limited way, it's our identity is much more than identity. It's a way of life. But okay, fine, your identity is a Muslim, is Islam. You draw your identity from there, and everything must be around that. But through your expressions, through what you write and what you um, profess, it's not identity, it's about the economy. I came across so many comments of Muslims and Muslims. I don't know what other people were saying. They were happy, but there's nothing in it. There's nothing in it. So yeah, I think it's covered. So what is the way? There's only the Muslim way. My friends, my brothers, my sisters, it's only the Muslim way, only the Islamic way. That's the only way or the highway, because Islam draws its source from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is perfect, it is perfection. You and I may not be able to see it, And in this day and age, we're seeing less and less of it. We want to see less and less of it, but it draws from perfection. So ideally, we should accept it point blank. But if that's not good enough, then you have to give it a chance. Na'uzubillah, and it'll prove itself, right? But we don't want it to give a chance. We want to live our worldly life, and even while professing that Islam is our most important thing, when it comes to actions, we betray our love for the world, such as through these comments and these thoughts that we have towards the victory of a peripherally active Muslim, I'm sure, but peripherally, a peripheral, one for whom his Muslim identity is peripheral to his campaign and what he wants to achieve. So that's all I have to say. What Islam is a whole topic in itself. So we have a question over here. The question is, if you just excuse me, where is it? Sorry, I can't see the chats. Ah, here. Sheikh, do you believe that perhaps you could be a source of hidayah for non-Muslims merely by showing off a less misconstrued image, although not an ideal Muslim, but perhaps you could lead many to the doors of Islam? Yes, so I said to you, it's not about him. Maybe he could. Maybe he could. Allah can do anything, right? And again, it's not about him, but more what let's not put it in a person, but rather what he represents, right? And okay, let's just simplify the arguments. No, I don't think he would, or it would be very imperfectly or very inefficiently. Because look, what is his belief system, right? That LGBTQ, no problem, you know, uh, women working at the cost of their families, even no problem. So fine, they may go towards Islam, fine, and that's like I'm saying, this person is every Sufi must believe that another person sincerely believe that a person is better than them, because you don't know what action as a Muslim he or she may have done that Allah loved, or that I'm forgetting the second one, but just please check it. But I think it is that a non-Muslim becoming a Muslim, right? So someone converting from a non-Muslim to Muslim because of this person, motivated by this person, subhanallah, um, not small. I mean, what have I done in my life to compare with that, right? And may Allah make it so. I just want to say on a bigger scale, on a more efficient scale, if a person is dressed like a Muslim, is has uh, his face radiates Islam to the Sunnah to Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and he's honest and he's straightforward. Uh, you know how much more of a strong impact would that be? And the purpose over here is not to one should definitely be diplomatic in their approach. One should definitely be loving in their approach, non-judgmental in their approach. Follow the Sunnat way with the niyat that this is my cleansing that's going on. This is my Islah that's going on. Uh, but it can't be that your zahir is something else, your outward is something else, and you expect that uh, other people's inwards will change. You understand? Maybe it may, but I just think it's a very inefficient way, and that's not even the main purpose of his, right? To convert people. It is to redistribute houses more effectively, which is uh, not a bad thing in itself, uh, but but it's not his main purpose, and that's not what his way of life represents. So, and again, it's not about him. It's about Muslims like me who celebrate what he represents, right? A worldly life, a worldly victory, a world in which we try to reconcile things like LGBTQ and we're all equal, that slow erosion of Islam. where two, three generations down, you no longer recognize those that Islam anymore, right? So, on that note, if there's any more questions, but I think we've crossed the time. So, Jazakallah for joining, and inshallah, until next week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wa iyyakum.